Hello, everybody. Welcome to the International Kriegsspiel Society's podcast, Coffee, Kegs, and Kriegsspiel. My name is Marshall. I'm the founder of the International Kriegsspiel Society, and I am your host today. I may be joined by some other members of the IKS. We'll see. I put out an invitation and a call because today we're going to talk about something that's pretty important to, I think, a lot of people, which is who the heck are we? And what are we all about? How did we get started and all of these other things? If you want the invitation to the live stream, that is available in the admin channel and in the masters channel, since I'm inviting those individuals in particular, if they want to click that link, come on StreamYard and join us for this presentation. I'm going to start by just talking a little bit about the history of the IKS, kind of my history, how I got into this. I want to talk a little bit about the logo and its symbolism, but then I really want to get into the value that the International Kriegsspiel Society offers you and others, and kind of our goals, where we're going, and so on, things like that. So we're going to get into that. Briefly about myself, I discovered Kriegspiel, I think in 2009, 2010. I should actually go further back than that, though, because the modern or present-day history of Kriegspiel actually goes back to the 1980s to a gentleman by the name of Bill Leeson, who was a member and probably the founder of the Little Gaddesden Kriegsspiel Society, which is this little tiny community in the heart of England, called Little Gaddesden is the town. And that particular town is, again, it's just a tiny town, but it became the home for Kriegsspiel in the middle of the 1980s because Bill Leeson took the original German rules, he translated them into English, and he colorized the maps, including my favorite map, the Metz map, as well as I think the Königsgracht and Meckel maps, which if you play Kriegspiel, you know a lot about Kriegspiel. Those are kind of the original OG maps, if you will. OG meaning original gangster, kind of California slang there. And Bill Leeson was the OG. The Little Gaddesden group was the OG. So they put up a group online called Kriegspiel News Forum, which to this day still can be found. And you can go there and you can check those guys out, and they play face-to-face games and they play some stuff online. And that's Little Gaddesden. Well, I fell into that group and I learned a little bit about Kriegspiel, and I said, I want to learn how to play this game. And it just so happens that I had a friend by the name of Brett Bailey who knew how to play Kriegspiel because I think he had some passing involvement or whatever with the group, and he literally lived in my community. So, small world, he and I decided to play a couple of games using the original rules. They were both complete disasters from a gameplay perspective, but they were very successful in teaching me, in particular, quite a lot about Kriegspiel and kind of how to run a Kriegspiel. So by 2011, I think I was putting together my own Kriegspiels. I created my own rule system, which I called the SoCal system. And that's because I played the games in Los Angeles with a group of friends who basically I forced to play with me. And I roped them in, and they actually had such a great time, they began wanting to play again and again and again. And so we played all of these cool games. And I created a Facebook group for us. And the Facebook group, let's see here if I can share that screen and show you the Facebook group just so you can see it. Oh, heck, I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, here we are. I have to select the right tab, don't I? The Facebook group is available for everybody to join. And originally we were called the Southern California Kriegsspiel Society, but we got a lot of people who were saying, I want to join, but I'm not in Southern California. Can I join? And of course, everybody's welcome to join. So what we ended up doing was changing the name of the group to the International Kriegsspiel Society. We basically moved online with our games during COVID out of necessity. A guy by the name of Michael Sheeter basically gave us the inspiration, saying, look, if you set up a few instances of Tabletop Simulator, you can have the red, the blue table, and the umpire table, and so on. And we can get this going. And that's what we did. And really, the rest is history. We took off from there. We created a Discord channel, which is absolutely massive. We've got over 1,800 people in that Discord now. And we've created, of course, this beautiful web page. And you can see the person who designed the web page. He's over here in the corner, but if we be very quiet, he won't see us. His name is Jan Heinemann. Hello, Jan.
Hello, how are you doing?
Good to see you, Jan. Jan has been, a right-hand man throughout all of this, especially the past few weeks where I've been a little ill and haven't been able to do the podcast. He's been showing up and filling in for a thing for which I am very grateful. Anyway, we got our go here, and we've got our website, and I just want people to kind of see the website. And actually, I could talk about it, but Jan, being the webmaster, maybe you want to talk about it and talk to us about these logos here. And then I'm going to talk about the IKS logo, and then we're going to talk about really the value that we want to offer everybody out there and where we're hoping to go with the group. Jan, how do you feel talking about the website and showing it off to people?
Sure.
And you could share a window on your screen, I think, or I can just scroll through and you can direct me.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we want to show every single page. But let me just recap the goal of the website. So it is supposed to be sort of the first contact point, of course, because that's the place where you get the invite link to our Discord server. And I think some place there's also a link to the Facebook. I'm not quite sure about that right now. And then it also provides you with basic information about what is Kriegsspiel, like very basic. If you never have heard about Kriegsspiel, you get the info there. Then it tells you how is Kriegsspiel played? Like, how do we play Kriegsspiel online? What do you need to play Kriegsspiel online? And you will quickly find that you basically only need Discord, Tabletop Simulator, if you want to be fancy and push blocks around. But really, it comes down to Discord is all what you mandatorily need to play. And then it sort of provides on top of that resources, which is some selected books here, some suggestions, that is. We have a page with rule sets. Some of the very famous historical rule sets are linked there. Also the translations you mentioned before, which can be bought online. And then also some of the rule sets our community members have designed, some of yours, which can be bought via our Etsy store, Otto's, Carter's, and so forth. Then we have the store link there, of course, with some cool gadgets you can order there. We do have our rules and our code of conduct on the website, which we probably get to in a second. There's the contact page where you can send feedback to us or get in touch if you have any inquiries. Feedback can also be sent anonymously, so you don't have to put your name and your email address in there if you don't want to. And then we have one page, I think, which runs through our Master Umpire Academy procedure and how you can become a Master Umpire if you wanted to. But that is, of course, if you have experience running games and so forth. So, the basic idea is to be the first landing point, so to say, and provide you the necessary basic input to understand what Kriegsspiel is and how it is played. Right, then you mentioned the logos, and as we can see on this page, there's also the Derby House principles. So the right logo there, the D20 with the various colors, that's the logo of the Derby House principles. And we, as the International Kriegsspiel Society, we have embraced the Derby House principles, which are meant to be to show support and to those organizations which embrace and support the Derby House principles. They declare to actively provide space for a diverse community in the professional wargaming sphere and provide opportunities for minority groups, so to say, which don't have a big standing in the wargaming community, as you might know from other communities, be it computer war games, be it board war games, be it miniature war games. Those are primarily dominated by men. And the Derby Horse principles on a professional level, that is, they want to change that and offer support and create communities that are welcoming to everybody and, well, as I said, support minority groups.
Thank you, Jan. That's a great recap. And yes, you also mentioned, I think you mentioned, for practitioners. If you're a wargaming practitioner, you can talk to this handsome gentleman here, who you just heard from, Jan Heinemann. You can talk to me, but I don't know what I'm talking about, but Jan does. So it's probably better you just talk to him. Here's a little bit of our pedigree, things that we've been doing officially as an organization, events that we've been sponsoring and supporting. And actually, I should be putting in a whole list of things, but they're going to look repetitive. But I should put my list in there because it would triple or the size of that. And of course, we have all kinds of cool stuff here. And again, people who want to learn how to umpire, we do have our Master Umpire Academy, where we basically teach people how to umpire Kriegsspiel. We walk you through the whole process. You do have to put on an event and everything, but we support you and so on. And it's a great and wonderful thing to learn. So there you have it. All right, let's talk a little bit about our logo, just because it's consistent with discussing art history. I think I have to change my screen here. Let's see here. Stop that one and present on. Oh, I don't know how this works. Let's see here. Here we go. All right. And here's our logo. And I just want to kind of explain some things so that people know what's going on with the logo. And I also want to let people know I am going to redesign this logo so that we have a more minimalist version, because this logo is very busy. It was not designed for things like business cards. It was designed to look cool, you know, on a hoodie or something. But we really do need a more minimalist logo. We're going to probably take a lot of the flags off, although I know they're pretty popular. But just real quick here, you see the blocks here, which are the typical Austrian block, and the I'm like, wait a minute, is it Austro-Hungarian? No, just the Austrian block and the French block. Very typical for the infantry blocks that were used in the original Kriegsspiel set. So you have a blue star here, which represents the OGs, and that's why that blue star is at the top. That's my honor for the Little Gadsden Society. And of course, here you have the red star, because we're in Los Angeles, and it's a red star because the star on the California state flag is red, and it's also red and blue, so it contrasts nicely, which is a Kriegsspiel convention. And this here represents the Southern California Kriegsspiel Society, from which the International Kriegsspiel Society essentially came. So you have the father here, you have the mother here, and now you have the IKS. The flags are basically chosen because they were the largest belligerents or participants in the Napoleonic Wars and in major wars of the 19th century. But again, they're not all represented here. Only some are, because we just didn't have that much room. And again, we're going to probably clear that out. And of course, you do have the motto here, Aut Caesar, aut nihil alia iacta est, which is a Caesar or nothing, the die is cast. The words spoken by Julius Caesar when he crossed the Rubicon, according to legend. And that's simply because, hey, we're gamers, we do play, and at some point you just gotta take that risk. You gotta roll those dice just as Caesar did. And in every Kriegsspiel, you get to that point where, as a commander, you've got to decide, where am I going to put that reserve? Where am I going to go into battle? You have only a few major decisions, but you make that decision, you're rolling the dice, and that's it, you know? And so we kind of are honoring that with our logo. All right, so that's basically the rundown of the IKS. You now know, of course, that it's a welcoming, diverse, and inclusive community. We want to invite everybody to come and be a member of this community and to join us. And of course, if you want to support us, you can join our podcast or our Patreon, and you can support us on Patreon. You know, it's a monthly little thing there. You can help us out there. We're also probably going to do some additional expanded fundraising efforts. You can, of course, buy stuff from our store. Any of the merch you buy from us, all of that money goes into support the IKS. And I do want us to do more fundraising in 2024 with the specific intention of helping us to network and form more connections with professional wargaming groups. And so that kind of brings us to the cool part of the show, now that you've got through the boring history lesson, where I want to talk about the plans for the IKS, both for amateur, for fun wargamers, but also for the professional practitioners. And our plans to kind of get out there and network. And I really think the best person to talk about that again is going to be Jan, because I don't know what I'm talking about, but he sure as heck does. And we need to go to him real quick. We have some comments here, though. This is from Let's Play History, also known as Jan, but he says howdy. Good to see you there. Vic, hello to you. And let's see here. Welcome. Oh, that's us saying welcome to ourselves. You're welcome for the recap there, Vic. Lancer says, you said that the wargaming community is dominated by men, but don't you think that it might be more accurate to say white heterosexual men over the age of 45? And yeah, Lance, I think you're largely correct. We do have, at least that's the impression. You know, I don't know that anybody has stats on it, but yeah, you go to any war game group or gaming group or convention, and what are you going to see there? I'm very proud to say that in the IKS, in our very admin group, we do have a range of persons. It's not just all a bunch of white heterosexual men over the age of 45. And we have deliberately labored to put people into administrative positions and decision-making positions, not just because they go against this stereotype, but because they're also very qualified to hold those posts. Nobody has the post based on their exceptions to this rule, which is white heterosexual men over the age of 45. People hold these posts because they have shown the acumen to hold them. They've shown the responsibility and commitment, because it is a serious post to be an administrator or moderator for the International Kriegsspiel Society. But then once they've met that threshold, then we look about that pool of candidates and we select people who are diverse, because we want that diversity of opinion. And we don't all agree, because we have that diversity, but we disagree respectfully. We hash everything out. We come to conclusions. We vote on everything. And it really makes the group run very smoothly. It actually works. So I'm very, very happy with it. Lance, you have Jan there is agreeing with you, and I agree with you. But yes, we do have a lower age, probably because we're online, and in the online realm, there's a lot of young people coming through there. A little comment here from Donald, who says, thank you for your site. What do I need to do to get my books in your site? They deal with decision-making through problem-solving learning, including war games. Donald, what you'll want to do is go to our website, International Kriegsspiel Society here. It's called Kriegsspiel.org. Go to Kriegsspiel.org and click on Contact, and just send us a dispatch here, and we'll work out the details with you. No problem there. Okay. All right. Oh, and here, Jan has also replied to you here. Okay. All right. And Lance, okay, I think we've covered that. So let's go ahead and turn this over to Jan and talk about sort of the pro side of the organization and our hopes and dreams for that. Go ahead, Jan, take it away.
Right. So It's interesting. So we know that, and we have some context, right, to the US Army War College and so forth, who are using Kriegsspiel still as an educational tool, and that's also the case in Germany and other armies, of course. Even though, interestingly enough, in Germany, Kriegsspiel was only sort of rediscovered 5 years ago, so there's a lot of potential there to get it implemented broadly again. But we do believe that Kriegsspiel still has a value for professional military education, and of course beyond that, it also conveys qualities and knowledge and qualifications you need in the everyday life, of course. But in the professional wargaming and serious gaming sphere, there are a lot of people very interested in Kriegsspiel because it is such a special experience, of course, which all the modern wargaming types we know today can't really capture. They are very good at other things, but they can't really capture that the same nature of fog of war and friction and all that, which is connected to Kriegsspiel. So we've putting some work into networking with the professional wargaming sphere, and I must say that the professional wargaming community is very supportive, very welcoming. They are very happy to share insights as far as they are allowed to, of course. But there is a lot of exchange going on. We've been cooperating with the Women's Wargaming Network again to support a new generation of wargamers there, and we are also planning, or we have run games for the Connections Online conference already, which we'll do again next year. We are planning to run some in-person games at The Hague and so forth at Connections Netherlands. And we really hope to broaden our network of wargaming practitioners and to create sort of a forum for exchange and sort of integrate that with our community. Because even though we are a community that mostly plays Kriegsspiel for fun and enjoyment, we also have a lot of members who are very serious about Kriegsspiel and Kriegsspiel design and historical research and also professional military wargaming. So the goal there is to connect, to exchange experiences, perspectives, and mutually benefit from that. And well, maybe develop new Kriegsspiel systems after all.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we do. We have a lot of different systems. And that's actually one of the things that I learned a long time ago when I developed the SoCal system was you don't have to do it the way they did it. We can do it our way. And in fact, the Prussians themselves revised the rules multiple times. That was my first clue that there's no right or wrong way to run the Kriegsspiel. Well, there's probably a wrong way, but there's really no right way that you have to do it. You don't have to do, people would always ask me, well, you're playing Kriegsspiel, what rule set are you using? They want to hear 1824, 1867. Really it's free Kriegsspiel is what we do mostly if you want to really classify it. But yeah, we do our own systems. And if you look at a system like my my Kriegsspiel systems, if I just can pull it up here real quick, here we are. Here's the K-23 system, which is the American Civil War. These systems are every bit as detailed as the original Kriegsspiel systems, specifically mine. Most of those done by other participants are not as, is that working right? There we go. Are not as detailed, but here's mine, but mine is pretty detailed. And, here's just the table of contents, and we do have some illustrations that I've been putting into it over time, and so on. So it is very detailed. And again, we're right up there with the original rules in terms of level of complexity, but we kind of have done things our own way. We think things are a little bit more smooth. They work great. You can, of course, still play the original rules if it suits you. So, 76 pages of rules here. So there you have it. All right, that's enough talking about me.
Yeah, I've just got me all the Prussian rule sets, at least the major ones printed. So that's like a pile of paper there to work through. But it's very interesting to see how it develops and how they change, and also how they sort of discuss and argue why the prior systems were too complicated, and then they change it all, and then at one point they come back to it and say, well, we can't do it that way. We need to get the dice back into the game and all that stuff. So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I actually need to talk to you. I wouldn't mind adding all this to my library. I have several original rule books, probably like 3 of them. So that's not really several, but it's a few. But they're all in digital form. It would be kind of fun to have them printed like this. Did you have them printed, or did you have them requested from a service, or how'd you get them?
No, those are all, and I posted the links on our Discord server. Those are all available for free at the Bavarian State Library. As PDF. You can just download the PDF there. And then I just, I printed them online, so to say.
Oh, well, there you go. Okay. Are these in German or English?
Those are all in German.
Oh, okay. So they are not in English. So I would have to learn a whole nother language to read them at present. Okay. Well, there you have it. Well, Jan, I think that's how you make your name. You just translate them all into English, and you'll be right up there with Bill Leeson, man.
Right.
So, by the way, just so people know, Jan is in Germany. I am in California. I have the better deal of the two of us, I feel. But yeah, just to show you that you understand the international character of our organization, we have members from all around the world who are here and playing with us. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about our hopes and dreams for the future.
Yeah, wait a second. I think we have a few very interesting follow-up questions on the professional side of things.
Are you able to see them here? Can
yes.
you put them on screen if you want?
I guess I can highlight them. There we go. Oh, yeah. So, what portion of the community has real-world military experience? That's hard to say.
I'm sure it's double digits easily.
Yes,
it's a lot.
Because not everybody tells us, and that's fair, of course. I'd have to look up how many practitioners we have assigned the respective role to, but there's quite a lot, and lots of members who are eager to design their own systems also have that background and want to run Kriegsspiel games at their regiment or company or whatever context they are coming from.
I want to add to that, though, because that can intimidate people. I do want people to know that I am a veteran of the Cola Wars. So you decide if that counts or not. But I want people to understand one of the cool things I like about Kriegsspiel is the way it's run is the rules are done by the umpires, but they're not run or shared with the players. So as a player, you don't know what the rules are. And this is one of the problems when you play a game with people who've played several times, is they're just going to go through and clean your clock because they know the rules. They know the mechanics. They know how to get the advantage. They know how to get that column shift. If you've ever played Hex and Counter War games, you know what that means. They know how to get that little edge or advantage that will allow them to beat you consistently. Even though you might even be making better choices, they just know how to work those rules. Kriegsspiel, that doesn't happen. An old veteran like myself, a person who's played Kriegsspiel hundreds of times, I don't know about hundreds, but a lot of times, the newcomers beat me all the time. In fact, it's even a joke, almost a meme, that, I always lose. And that's the cool thing is if you come in and you do a good job, if you network, if you write your dispatches, and they have the right pertinent information, you can win every time. And we also don't pick people as winners. We often, because it's a learning exercise and a training thing, we don't always say that the team that actually cleared the field of the enemy or forced the enemy to surrender is the winner necessarily, because the scenarios are not usually fair or balanced. They are often imbalanced. Oftentimes you are in a no-win situation. This is Kobayashi Maru stuff. If you know what I'm talking about, if you're a fan of Star Trek, you get that reference. And the fact is, yes, you could be put into a no-win situation, but the winner of the Kriegsspiel is the person who makes the best decisions given the circumstances that they're put into. So a newcomer can win. It doesn't take you very long to learn. Even I mentioned writing dispatches. You're like, what the heck is a dispatch? Look, you can learn that in 2 minutes. It is not hard. The barrier to get in and play this game is very, very low. There is a bigger barrier to play games like Monopoly than to play Kriegsspiel, I feel. And that's why I really want to encourage people from all kinds of groups and diverse groups to come into here and participate with us, because don't be intimidated, don't be afraid. And you don't play alone. You usually play as part of a team. So your fellow officers will support you and help you and guide you and so on. So it is not this hyper competitive, terrifying experience. At least the competition part isn't competitive. The fog of war, of course, will play with your mind. But that's a whole different story.
Mm-hmm. And then Lance, who's a game designer himself, he asked, don't you find that the professional wargaming groups have different goals and objectives for their sessions than hobbyist gamers? And I would say yes, that's true. But we have a very vast overlap, I would think. A great portion of our community is interested in the same things. And when we run games with professionals, or let's say practitioners, there's I think the term professionals has somewhat been swapped with practitioners, which allows for a wider group understanding. When we run games with practitioners, we do, of course, assess their needs, right? So what do they want to achieve by running the game? Is there a certain scenario they want to run? Do they want to test specific approaches to a problem? What type of additional sort of friction input do they want, if at all? And so forth. So there are various aspects. Do they want to run it as a staff exercise, or do they want to have all the players isolated? Is the focus on that all the players should learn how to read, how to write precise orders, and so forth? So it really, I would say it's a very common answer when it comes to professional wargaming. It depends. It depends. What do you want to achieve with your game? And of course, we don't ask the same questions when we run the games for entertainment, because then it's just the master or the lead umpire creating the scenario, creating the problems, and then just tossing the players in. So yes, and I guess it's true in that regard that the players who play for recreational purposes don't have don't want to get the same amount of learnings out of it. They play because they enjoy the gameplay, whereas I think the practitioners, they play because they want the debriefing. They want the learnings, which you can get out of the game. So there is some variations there. But I think there's a vast overlap in our community.
Yeah, and as Lance adds, my experience was that military professional games are completely uninterested in who won or lost. It's about analyzing the systems and validating concepts. And yeah, there's room for that. Absolutely. Absolutely. And in fact, we don't usually play games to the bitter end. Even when we play for fun, we play to like a decision point, but we don't force one side to sit there and suffer while they're routed off the map. We'll call the game, and give our critique and our debrief, and that works for everybody. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, and professionals want the debriefing, and there you go. So we have some agreement there with Lance. Let's see here. There we are. Okay. I want to talk about some of the more amateur side of this, and it's that I want people to know that we've got different ways to play, and everybody is welcome, and we're going to get you eased into it, if you will. Nobody is going to be in over their head necessarily from a gameplay perspective. Literally, you can come in here if you know how to play Battleship or Tic-Tac-Toe. You can play Kriegsspiel. It is that simple, folks. It is not hard at all. And we've got people from all around the world who come and play with us. Language is not an issue. We're international. Although we do everything pretty much in English, we do encourage the use of native languages. And we have people who speak a wide variety of languages and can probably translate. And Google Translate is our friend, as somebody has pointed out here. And absolutely, we make it work for you. Okay. I want everybody to feel welcome in this community. And we want you here to play, so please don't be intimidated by this warfare stuff, because there's a lot of practical applications to learning about this. And I tell you that I have learned so much that I take into my everyday life from Kriegsspiel, that it's kind of surprising and shocking. Part of it is I've learned that luck still plays a role, whether I like it or not. I've learned what I say, the enemy gets a say. That's what I call that. The other side, you can have this perfect plan in your mind, but the enemy's going to have a say in how that plan unfolds, and you have to be adaptable to that. I've learned that your enemy is often as afraid or intimidated as you are, even when they are bigger or stronger than you are. So if you're thinking, I need to go in and ask my boss for a raise, I want a raise, I assure you, believe it or not, that your boss is just as terrified of you having that conversation with them as you are having that conversation. I assure you, it is not as imbalanced as it feels. And I think one of the biggest lessons I learned in Kriegsspiel is that the numbers don't matter nearly as much as the mental frame of mind, the attitude, or what the French would call elan or elan vital. If you have the sort of and by the way, I don't like this because I don't like the whole morale check thing. And I call it, what are you going to ask the soldiers how they feel? Who does that, right? In the middle of a battle? Hey, guys, how you feeling? You feel good? All right. But actually, it is a massive factor, whether I like it or not. Just like the luck thing. I don't like luck as a major factor in games, but I'm sorry, it's still a factor. And at the end of the day, the side or the person who's going into a talk or a negotiation or whatever situation with, I guess, the higher tone level or the greater morale, the better your chances are. I've seen people who have every advantage on the map lose the game because mentally they were defeated, because they thought they were defeated. For whatever reason, they just took on their mind, I'm defeated. And well, it became a self-fulfilling prophecy. So a disadvantaged individual can win against an advantaged individual if the frame of mind is correct. And these are probably the most valuable lessons I've learned from Kriegsspiel. And I think it's valuable to take these lessons into the rest of our lives and apply them elsewhere in our work, in our private and personal relationships, and all of our relations. And that's why I think Kriegsspiel has an application outside of the war game and community. Even if you're not really interested in war, everybody needs negotiation skills. Everybody could benefit from the insights that you can glean from Kriegsspiel. I also like that you can glean a lot of individual insights. You learn about your own character. Am I the kind of person that works to rule? Meaning, do I follow the orders obediently and I never disobey those orders? Or am I a maverick? Do I just run off and do my own thing regardless of what I'm ordered to do? When do I bend the rules? Because I've got orders sitting in my hand that are probably sent an hour ago by a commander who has no idea what's really in front of me. And to me, the situation has changed. but I have a narrow view of the situation. So do I act in accord with a narrow view of the situation to my front, even though it's real time, but it contradicts the spirit or the intent of the orders sent by my superior? What do I do? We could have a chance at victory here if I take some initiative, but it could also be a grim defeat if I act out of order. What do? You learn about your character in those situations, and I think that's really important, regardless of how you answer that. Simply having that knowledge to know this is how I tend to behave in this situation, being cognizant of that fact, makes you a big winner. All right. Jan, anything you want to add to that?
No, I totally agree, and I would like to welcome. I mean, it's probably not the most likely thing that people who don't know the IKS have watched the video 40 minutes in, but I want to invite everybody who is interested in role playing games and just decision making, and maybe even it may just be drawing maps and all those different aspects that come together in Kriegsspiel. There is a place for you in our community, and we would like to welcome you to become a part of what I personally think is one of the best communities, actually. And well, of course I'm biased, but with all the experience I've had over the years in various forums and Facebook groups and what have you, in the wargaming community, I think the IKS is a very special place. Marshall mentioned that before. It's not only that we can have these discussions in the admin team, but also in the community as a whole. And I find that fascinating, and it impresses me.
All right, there's a couple different ways to play. You can play real time. We host a game every Saturday called Open Saturday. You hop onto our Discord server and you'll see what the schedule of games is coming up, and you can get into that. You can also do what we call play by post. And a play by post game allows you to, oh boy, what did I do there? A play-by-post game allows you to, let's see here, I need to share the correct screen. A play-by-post allows you to kind of play at your leisure, meaning you don't have to play in real time. You can take time to make your decisions and submit your turns and so on. So if you don't have a lot of time, if you don't have blocks of time like on a Saturday, you don't have 4 or 5 hours to sit down for a formal Kriegsspiel live game, you can always just kind of come and play the play-by-post. And the play-by-post will play out over many weeks or months even. And there you are. Here's how you join our Discord. You can get into our Discord and you can play with us. Well, I'm in a whole different thing there, so it doesn't show the Discord. But my point is, you join on the Discord, and you just go to our website, click the Discord join button, and you're in. And that's it. It doesn't cost anything. There's no money involved. Although, of course, we do want you to support us. So if you want to support us, Patreon is one way to do it. And we are going to be seeking people to sort of support or sponsor travel to professional wargaming events and stuff, particularly in Europe. We want to get Jan and some others out there to network with more professionals. And the reason we want the professionals is that's how we learn. We want to learn from them. We also have things to offer professionals. Just because you're a professional doesn't mean you know it all. We may surprise you. We may have come up with some novel solutions to problems that you haven't, figured out how to solve. It's just, again, together we're stronger than working out there individually. So let's work and network with each other. And also, let's just have some fun. This is a heck of a fun game. It's fun enough. I just spent 45 minutes talking about it on a Sunday morning when I could have been doing any other thing. So that should tell you how much I believe and how passionate I am in Kriegsspiel and the value that it has for fun and for education. Anything else, Jan?
No, I think we all good.
All right. Well, that's all for today then. All right. I want to thank you all for being here, for tuning into our show, and for listening to Jan and myself talk a little bit about who the IKS is, or what we are, and what we're here, what we're trying to do. And I want you all to feel welcome. Again, please come check us out, and I think you'll have a good time. Thank you all for being here. We will see you on our next adventure. Bye for now.
Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.